Hey guys, how's it going? All right, I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. Um, let's see. What I'm going to be doing is taking apart this little Daiwa 8100A. I bought this one a while back and did a video on it, and it's quite a bit bigger than its little brother here. So I'm going to start taking this one apart, and hopefully we can chat a little bit and maybe get to know each other. And if people want to support each other, that's awesome too. Hi guys, I see y'all. Miss Kathy Reeves, Fly Fishing Ninja, Professional Student, Nesting Haven. I've never fished. Okay, Miss Kathy Reeves, I've never fished, but I boat and tube, LOL. Okay. Yeah, I've done both of those too, and that's always fun. I've been fishing since I was really young, and a buddy and me fished a lot on the weekends when we weren't doing sports and things like that. We fished a lot on the weekends on small creeks, and that's kind of what I still do to this day. We're still friends, and we've been friends since we were in the second grade. In case anybody hasn't figured it out yet, I'm pretty loyal to people. And I've only been fishing a couple of years. Oh, that's cool, Ninja. I didn't know that. Did not know that at all. Well, you are very good at it. Very good at it. So I've got the spool pulled off here. My oldest son loves to fly fish, and I think he uses the arrow shooting. Oh, yeah, that's called bow fishing. A lot of people do that. I've never tried it before. They usually do that for things like carp and gar, things like that. I haven't tried it. I've seen a lot of people do it, and it looks interesting to me somewhat. I do a lot of catch and release though, and I won't kill a fish unless I plan on eating it. That's just a personal thing for me. But people do eat gar, I know. Carp, I'm not so sure about. Hi. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing? All right, so what I'm going to do here is go ahead and get this line off of this spool. And this is just a piece of foam block. I've got a video that shows how I do this. Are you doing good? That's awesome. Me too. I think I'm always doing good. I must be really lucky. This is just a piece of foam block, and this just makes getting the line off of the spool better and a little easier to do. And what I do is I will take a piece of a bamboo skewer and put it inside the spool here, and that just allows it to spin. So this will be a little noisy, but I'm going to get this line off of here real quick and see if we can get started taking this reel apart. And I'm also going to try to open this up on a browser here on my computer so I can see. Yes, now I can see the chat better. On my phone, it just kind of shows up and disappears. So now I can see it better from my little laptop here. Muskie, Professional Student. Boy, look at all these people. This is awesome. Thank you guys for coming. Hi, Patsy Houlihan. I really like your puppet videos. They're funny to me, especially the toilet ones. Yes, it is hard to read on the phone, Muskie. And what I've done, my wife has a little Chromebook, and I've just got it set up over here, and was able to refresh my home page. And when I refreshed my home page, the link to the live stream showed up. So I just clicked on it on my little Chromebook over here, and now I can read the comments a lot easier. Miss Kathy Reeves, I did not see your live stream because I was trying to set this up and I had no idea what I was doing. So I was researching, but I missed that. I'll try to come back and watch it though. So this will be a little noisy here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little drill here to spin this foam block and take the line off of this spool. This is old line, and in fact, you probably can't tell just by looking, but this fishing reel is actually made in the 1960s. So it's pretty ancient as far as reels go, but that's kind of how I like to fish. I like to use old stuff, and I don't know why, but I do. A lot of it's heavier duty. It's built to last. Like, you know, this reel was made in the 1960s. I've got reels that I bought in the 1990s that are junk now, and they were expensive reels at the time. So these last forever. So let me get this line off of here, and then we'll get started taking this thing apart. And hopefully that's showing up there so you can kind of see how this works. It takes a long time to pull this off by hand, but by using the drill and this little foam block, you can get it off a lot quicker. All right, so that's it. All that line is off. And you can see how much line that was. That would have taken quite a while to do that by hand. All right, let's see what we got here now that I've made all that racket. Oh, okay, yeah. Nesting Haven said that we read chat on a different device when we live stream too. It definitely helps. Definitely helps. Oh, yes, Muskie, 300 yards by hand takes quite a while, and it makes quite the mess too. When you get the line off, if you use a foam block, they're nice because you can actually just take a pair of scissors and run it up under the line and cut that, and then you've got all your line spooled off there. And I usually try to take my line in for recycling. If I don't, I'll go ahead and cut it up though, because if it ends up in a landfill, you know, birds could get tangled up in it and things like that. I guess I'm not really a hippie, but I do believe in protecting the environment as much as possible and things like that. So if that makes me a hippie, then I'm a hippie, but that's okay. Wow. Hi, SOL, and hi, Angie. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with this and do the reel at the same time. What I was hoping to do here was to maybe be able to do a little 3-part deal with this first live stream. I thought maybe if I could do something productive on the beginning and the end, I could do a middle one and actually edit the footage on that one. Because I do want people to see this particular reel, just because a lot of collectors and things don't actually know about these, and they're super well made. So I wanted to try to do a video live where I take it apart, and then I will probably do a second video where I actually do the cleaning part, because it's very time consuming and it's not something I'd want to do on a live stream. So it's easy to take them apart. It's pretty easy to get them back together. I thought I might do those two on a live stream and do the cleaning one on an edited video that I could upload, because it would take way too long to do on a live stream. And I just kind of wanted to try the streaming thing out just to see how it goes. If I don't like it, I might not do it again. But it is kind of neat seeing everybody here and seeing everybody say hello. Hi, Popular Food. Have I missed anybody? Let me see. Dog is my co-pirate. Yes. Awesome, guys. All right. So now I've got all the line off of here. Hi, Frog Tech Tips. Hey, guys. Frog Tech Tips. If you get a chance, go check out his channel and see if he will do a review on your channel for you, because he did one for me and it was very helpful and insightful. And I'm still trying to implement some of those changes that he recommended. It's just a time consuming thing, and I'll do a little here and there as I get time. But if you'll go check out his channel and ask for a review, if he can get to yours to do, I think you'll find a lot of very useful information that he can provide for you. Also, just checking out reviews he's done for other channels too. Oh, you did one for popular food? That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's very useful information. Okay, this type of spool is what I call a push button release spool. It's got a little push button on here, and it actually locks in place when it slides over the shaft here. That locks it into place, and to get it back off, you just push the button and pull the spool off. So I'm going to go ahead and take this spool apart here, if I can. And I'm sure something will go completely wrong during this video, but I'm going to try to do it anyway. So there's the drag knob, and I'm just going to push the spool shaft out from the bottom there. And I'm going to go ahead and take the drag washers out. And let's see, I'm going to come back and read some of these comments here in just a second too, and see if I can get caught up. All right. And there's one more down there. This is another interesting thing to me on these reels. The drag washers they used, even though these were made in the 1960s, they actually used Teflon drag washers. And so Teflon's been around for quite a while. I thought that was interesting. And I'm going to take all these drag washers and set them aside. And I like to save my little detergent cups from liquid detergent for the clothes washing machine. And I like to use those just to keep parts and things in. Pretty handy. And you get to reuse something. All right, so the spool is completely stripped. No, it's not. The clicker's still on there. That's a metal drag clicker. What it does when a big fish takes your bait, the clicker makes a noise on the shaft. Let me see if I can get it on here just to, well, it's not going to do it because I took the center. Let me stick it back in here. So I think you can hear that clicking. That's the noise it makes when a fish is pulling drag off of your spool. And most of the newer reels, or not all of them, but a whole lot of them are plastic on that clicker, and they wear out and break. And some of them are just a real thin piece of sheet metal. These are actually a stamped piece of stainless steel. Lasts forever. That's one of the reasons why I like these old reels. I'm not a big fan of buying something and having to throw it away a couple of years later. But yeah, professional student said fishing hobby is environmentally aware. Yeah, I try to be as much as I can. You know, if you live in the United States, unfortunately, you're going to be wasteful somewhat. But if we try to do things here and there, it helps. All of it adds up. At least that's the way I look at it. All right, so I'm going to just take, there's just 2 screws here that hold on this side plate. Welcome back, Angie. Hi, Family Toy Report. I didn't see that you were here. Rebel One's here. Hi from Indy. Awesome. You know, one time when I was younger, I had a pretty bad accident in Indy. They make a lot of RVs there, and in Indiana. Oh, wait a minute, just a second here. Muskie says, I don't see many spin cast reels with clickers, mostly bait casters and trolling. Yeah, all the spinning reels I have clickers on them for the spool when it's peel and drag, but some of them don't, I guess, or they're broken or something. But most spinning reels should have a clicker in it somewhere, unless something's happened to it. But what I was saying, Rebel One, I used to, when I was in college, I actually did RV repair at a place, and I had a really bad wreck when they sent us up there in a darn ice storm to bring back some RVs, and it was a good way to earn money in college, but man, that was a dangerous situation they put us in there. And I got on the interstate, and a big gust of wind hit us, and the road was just covered in ice, and it slid the trailer sideways on me and pulled me off the road, and it rolled the trailer and about tumped the truck over. And luckily everybody was driving real slow and nothing major happened, but it was definitely a scary situation for sure. All right, let me see if I can get caught up a little bit here on some of these comments. All right. Yeah, that was scary. Family toy report. Ice storm that never happens here. Yeah. Yeah, that was a disaster. And I'm from Arkansas. We don't get a whole lot of bad weather here in the winter. You know, more often than not, we have actually pretty pleasant weather. You know, I'd say a lot of times our winter temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, and occasionally we hit in the mid 80s even during the winter. Our weather can vary a lot from day to day during the winter. You might have, just last year we had one day that was 20 degrees outside, and just after, excuse me, it was 20 degrees one day, but the day before it was 80. So yeah, you never know what you're going to get here with the weather. All right, what I'm going to do now is I am going to pull this center shaft out of here. Yes, Miss Kathy Reeves, in Missouri, it is cold. And even in northern Arkansas, it gets a lot colder than it does where I'm at. I'm kind of in the north central part of the state, but I'm not to the extreme north. I'm about 40 miles north of Little Rock, which is pretty much just right in the center of the state. So our weather is usually several degrees warmer than it is just you know, another hour's drive north. It's funny how that works. Okay, so I pulled that center shaft out, and there was just a pin that holds it to this arm here, and I just pulled that pin out and slid that center shaft out. And now I'm going to take this is called the cup on a spinning reel. These older ones, this is called a cup. On the newer ones, it's called a rotor. I call them both. They're pretty much the same thing. But on the newer ones, the reason they're not called a cup is because they're not shaped like a cup, because the spools on the newer ones don't actually go down inside of the rotor the same way that these do. So there's just a nut there, and now that should come right off of the pinion gear. And I guess since I've got that off, I'm going to go ahead and take apart this cup here. That's just a little flat-sided washer that keeps that from turning on the shaft. And let's see, I'm going to get this going. Another nice thing about these older ones, it says, Destiny Haven says, really temps are that good in Arkansas in winter? Sounds like I might have to move there. Yeah, our weather is great except for about 3 months during the summer. We've got high humidity and high heat for about 3 months out of the year. If you can deal with that, when I say high humidity, you know, I'm talking like 90 plus a lot of days on the humidity, and that makes the 100-degree temperatures feel a whole lot worse. I've been to Nevada in 120-degree weather and was much, much more comfortable than I was when I left our house. And our house was, the temperatures were, when I left, right around 100, but the humidity was so high that dry heat was a lot easier to take. Hi Jen, I saw you were doing a live stream this morning and I didn't see it. I was trying to set up for mine, and I will get to your next one if I get a chance, because I have not actually watched one of your live streams live yet. I'm usually busy a lot in the mornings, but this morning I'm not. But I have not, I've come back and watched some of your live streams after the fact, but I have not watched them as they happen. But I'm going to try my best to do that. Yeah, Miss Kathy Reed says, yeah, people say Vegas is hot, but not close to the humidity. I'm used to it. Yeah, it makes a huge difference to me. When it gets humid like that, it's hard to breathe even sometimes. The air is just so thick. So that's completely stripped down. And I've just got a little bit more disassembly here. And there's a ton of parts here. And, you know, most people are probably thinking I couldn't get that back together. I've done so many of these. They're all made similar. I really don't have any problems getting them apart and back together. And now I cannot find my wrench. All right. All right. Dead air is not good. Let's see. Nesting Haven said, oh, see, I prefer humidity over dry heat. Yeah, that dry heat in Nevada, it will dry your system out for sure. I would take 120 degrees in dry heat over 105 degrees with 90% humidity though, personally. The dry air will dry you out. It'll dry your whole system out. But that humidity, when it gets like that, places like Louisiana, Arkansas, and the Houston area in Texas, well, it's just about miserable to me. Yeah, the dry heat on your sinuses, I could see that if you have sinus issues, for sure. All right, I'm taking this apart here. This is some small stuff here. That's a little line roller. And I always like to double check to make sure there's not any. Sometimes there's a little sleeve in there that's like a plastic sleeve that helps that turn freely. Thank you guys for supporting each other and checking each other's channels out while you're here. That's awesome. We all need to keep doing that. Who knows what the changes will bring next time, because, you know, they've changed twice now. They've changed the requirements to get into the program, and who knows what the third change will bring. It might require 5,000 subscribers, you know, for all we know. We just don't have any way of knowing. So it's better to start getting ready for the next one now. All right. Let's see. Family Toy Report says I can't wear contact lenses in the dry heat. Yeah, I don't know that I could wear contact lenses at any time. My eyes are very sensitive to everything. I still have really good eyesight too. For my age, I'm 41. I've never had any kind of issues with my eyes yet. I'm sure it's coming, but I just really, stuff around my eyes and things, I just can't hardly tolerate it. Very sensitive eyes. And I wear sunglasses a lot too when I'm outside, just because even the bright light sometimes gets to my eyes. I probably should have left that rotor on here before I started trying to take this handle off. I'm just going to slide it back on here. So thank y'all for hanging out and watching me take apart this reel. I know it's not super exciting to most people, but I thought I could do a dual thing here. I could try out the live streaming thing and also get a reel apart that I wanted to get apart and start working on it. And hopefully the footage will be decent enough here to where I can actually use some of this with maybe just a little bit of editing to put on my channel after I get done. All right, so there went the reel handle. Okay, this thing is getting close to being completely stripped apart. All I've got left here is the gears on the inside. And if you don't know a whole lot about the inner workings of spinning reels, these type of reels, they don't really make anymore. There's a few you can find. They're extremely expensive because the way that these gears work is so different than the newer stuff. These use what's called a worm gear drive, and that's an expensive gear system to produce from a mechanical standpoint. It's not. Most people now use die-cast gears, and die-cast gears are cheap to make, and you can mass produce those. And everybody's trying to save money on manufacturing costs and things. But these worm gear setups are much more durable than any of the new stuff you'll find out there. All right. There's that. And you can see this stuff is messy. The old grease in here is just about solidified, a lot of it, and that all has to be cleaned out. And I use synthetic lubricants on things as I'm putting them back together. So that's the pinion gear. And the way that some of these older reels that had the worm gear setups, the main drive gear sets on top of the pinion gear. And the reason it's so much stronger than all the new stuff is because there's always 2 teeth engaged at a time on that gear setup. And that really does a lot for the strength. There's the ball bearing it had. And let me get this arm off of here. All right, let me check out some of the comments here. Let's see, Muskie, how would I put a better worm gear in the ambassador? They keep breaking. I don't know. Are they brass? I don't use bait casters. I'm familiar with that bait caster. I don't really use them. I've never cared for them a whole lot. I can use them, and I have used them. I really like spinning reels. I do certain things to make sure I don't have issues with line twist. So, you know, I've never really felt compelled to stick with bait casters for any length of time. I feel like spinning reels are a little more versatile in some ways. So I'm not familiar with that. Is that like a brass gear on the worm gear drive on that? If it is, there's a possibility somebody might be producing an aftermarket stainless steel gear that would hold up better too. Okay. All right, so I've got this completely apart now on the gear set up here. And really the only thing left is a little bit here on the this is what they call, let me get some of this old grease out of here. That little metal piece right there, that silver one's called an anti-reverse dog, and that's what keeps the reel from spinning backwards. And there's an on-off switch for it. And it was actually so gummed up with that old grease, it wasn't moving before. And that's why this thing needs to be, one of the reasons this needs to be taken apart and redone. A lot of that grease has probably been in here since the 1960s, so it has solidified and it's a mess. The old petroleum-based greases that aren't synthetic have a tendency to gum up over time. All right. Hey, Miss Kathy Reeds, yes, the surgeon. We've got you in mind here for sure, no doubt about it. So good luck with that. Hopefully everything turns out great there on that. All right, Muskie, it's a brass. I think the gear spins, but does not bring the line retrieval back and forth. Okay, so you're talking about the worm gear that does the oh, my mind just went blank for a second there. The worm gear that does the line lay on the spool itself that goes back and forth in front. Yeah, that is a lot of parts, Jen. Yeah, we're all definitely pulling for Miss Kathy. Hopefully, surgery is not a fun. I've only had one surgery, and it's not a fun thing to go into. I actually felt really good afterwards because I had actually, the only surgery I had was on a bicep that pulled completely off of my forearm. I tore it up really bad, and the bicep completely tore away from my forearm and shot up into my upper part of my arm, and it was really discomforting the entire time that it was in the wrong place for me. So I felt really good after the surgery, even though it was sore and I couldn't use it. It felt better than it had before. That wasn't a fun thing to go through. Yeah, musky fishing, I would imagine, is hard on reels. Yeah, Nesting Haven, your bicep is actually attached by tendons to your forearm. And there's, I think if I remember right, they said there's one on your upper bicep that's close to your shoulder, and then there's one on your forearm. And if you tear those tendons loose from that forearm, then it will shoot up. It actually, the whole thing is almost like a rubber band. It's like once it comes loose, it will take off and shoot up somewhere else in your arm. It's not a fun thing. All right, so I've got that whole thing apart. I'll just for the heck of it, you can see they're fairly complicated little pieces of equipment. There's a whole lot of parts there. But they're not, once you've done several of them, they're not so bad. But I will try to edit some of this and perhaps get enough video footage where I can use this and then supplement it with a fully edited video of the cleaning process. And then I might do another live video of putting it all back together later. So let's see, we've got still several people here. Yeah, you recorded it so you'll know how to, Nesting Haven said it's a good thing you recorded this so you'll know how to put all those little parts back together. I'm sure I've done many dozens of reels, so I kind of know how they go back together. And then sometimes there's a question of figuring out which direction to turn a spring. Like this little spring here is kind of an odd shaped spring. So I'll have to go back and figure out. But it's kind of like putting together a puzzle. This is the sort of thing I'm good at, just naturally. I've always worked with my hands. I have a business degree, and even after I completed that, I still ended up, I eventually ended up being a supervisor, a field supervisor for a bunch of techs at a place that did work on really big copiers for places that would do like small book publishing and things like that. I actually ended up doing that after college just because I enjoy working with my hands. I always have, and I guess I probably always will. But you definitely will enjoy your job a lot more if you enjoy what you're doing when you get there. you always have problems and things that pop up where you'll have disagreements about this or that in any job. Things don't always go as you want, but if you enjoy the actual work itself, it makes going to work a lot better, in my opinion. All right, let's see. So everybody keep Miss Kathy in your thoughts and prayers for her surgery. Hopefully everything goes well there. That's not a fun thing to have to go do at any point for any of us. High professional student again. And Nesting Haven still here. Family toy report. Muskie, Patsy Houlihan. Thank you guys for stopping by. I think I'll probably wrap this up now. And unless anybody has any questions about anything, or if anybody just wants to talk some, I've got some time. If anybody just wants to talk about anything, that would be cool too. How's everybody doing with their channels right now? Everything looking good? I know initially, Muskie, you're running a boring instrument. You doing some more lab tests right now? Yeah, I'd like to know how everybody's doing with their channels. You know, initially when I first started gaining a lot of subscribers, my watch time went down quite a bit. My average duration on my watch time went down somewhere around 30 seconds or so per video. But since then, it's gone back up. And that's one of the things that, hey, thanks, Jen. I'm glad you're liking the stream. The video view duration is one of the key factors in how much you make off of a video. Professional student said, my channel is still growing since I started interacting on Twitter. Yeah, I don't do the Twitter thing yet. I've actually not really had any kind of trouble with my channel growth at any point. I guess I started my channel, I think in August of 2016, and I really just put up one video, and I didn't do anything with it for several months after that. But when I came back to it, I started working at it pretty hard, and it's just been a steady growth since. I probably get somewhere, well, I can probably look here and see what kind of views I do get per month, because I can't remember off the top of my head. It's several thousand views a month though. Well, I don't want to mess up my stream here. I get several thousand views a month, and I've got some videos that get thousands each per month, but it didn't really start taking off until about 6 months ago, and that was just because I started loading up uploading more content. And that helped out a lot. All right, let's see how everybody else is doing. Muskie says, my view time has stayed the same, but I put out a lot of new content. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. That helps more than anything, is getting the content out there and making it stuff people can find easily. Nesting Haven, I just have some watch time to get still, but getting there, channel is still growing. Oh, the collab. I don't think I saw that collab video. You know what, guys? I went back through and checked on my notifications for a lot of channels, and a lot of them are turned off. And I have absolutely no idea how that happened, because I didn't do it. And some of them were channels like the Fly Fishing Ninja. I've been subscribed to him since way before this started. And the other day, he said he had uploaded a new video. He messaged me, and I said, man, I did not get the notification on that. And then he sent something again a few days later. So I went and checked, and sure enough, my bell notification icon was turned off. And I cannot figure out any way I would have accidentally did that. And since then, I went back and checked some more, and there's a lot of them that are turned off. And I don't know if they've got some kind of limit, because everybody I've subscribed to since all this started, I've turned on notifications for. So I don't know if there's something in their system where the notifications get turned off if you've got so many, because they still have to send all those notifications out individually. No, YouTube do that automatically. Okay. Yeah, there's something going on there for sure. So, oh, I got a package that just showed up, I think. But I'm going to probably get off here now, but I really appreciate everybody coming by, and I will be seeing y'all, for our members in the small YouTube group, I'll be seeing y'all there. And for everybody else, thanks for checking out the live stream. I think pretty much everybody here is in our group, so yeah. Oh, Frog Tat Tips is not, I don't believe. Hey, thank you guys. I'm going to get off here, and I will talk to y'all later.